What's up, everyone? Welcome to a special Saturday morning quality control Cohn phone mashup. It's kind of like an A&W KFC mashup. So I got a few things I want to talk directly to the Niners about, and then I'll bring in some callers if you want to call in. The link is in the description. The link is pinned in the chat box. Got to wait a little bit, but we got Korean 49er always first in line. Then we got sub 2 Pookie waiting as well. What I want to talk about first for the quality control portion of this show is John Lynch's resume. I mean, this is such a critical offseason for the 49ers. They're firmly third in their division. They know it. Everyone knows it. And they're third because they haven't drafted well since the pandemic hit. So last year was a better draft, but it's unclear if the Niners got any stars. They drafted a defensive end in round one. Defensive end is still one of the Niners' biggest needs because Mike Williams is really more of a small defensive tackle. So this is the year. The Niners have to get this draft right. They have to knock it out of the park. It has to be the best draft in the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch tenure. In the past, the Niners have gotten. I mean, they've built two Super Bowl losers, and the way they did that a lot of times was with trades. They traded for Christian McCaffrey. They traded for Trent Williams. They traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. They traded for D Ford with mixed results. But now that they've given out all this money to players they've drafted, such as Brock Purdy, it doesn't seem like the Niners are going to be super aggressive, spending money on players they didn't draft anymore, which means they got to be great. And if they're not, they're going to fall even further behind the Seahawks and the Rams. And it seems like, I mean, look at these names. I got a complete list of what John Lynch has done. He's had 11 first-round picks in 9 years. This is what he's done with them. Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster, Mike McGlinchey, Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Brandon Ayuk, Trey Lance 3 times, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Williams. Those are his first-round picks in 9 years. Here are his second-round picks. And I'm kind of like what he did with them. Players he drafted, players he acquired. He traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. He traded a second and third to move up for Pettis. Deebo Samuel, good pick. Traded a second for D Ford, who gave him 21 games. Drafted Aaron Banks, Drake Jackson. Traded for Christian McCaffrey, Renardo Green, Alfred Collins. Maybe. And then third round is just abysmal. 21 picks he's had with all these comp picks. Akello Witherspoon, CJ Beathard, Fred Warner, Tavarius Moore, Jalen Hurd, Emmanuel Sanders, 13 games of him. Trent Williams, Trey Lance again, because they gave up a third for him. Trey Sermon, Ambry Thomas, Ty Davis Price, Danny Greed, Christian McCaffrey, second, third, and a fourth for him. Jair Brown, Jake Moody, Cam Latu, Dominic Pooney, 12 games of Chase Young, Nick Martin, Upton Stout. That's what he's done with 9 years of the first 3 rounds. And that's not it for him. What about trades? Dude, he's held on to so many players for so long. Too long. Guys who ended up getting hurt and being worthless. But he traded DeForest Buckner at 25 years old so he could draft Javon Kinlaw. That was an awful trade. These are trades that get you fired. Trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, a second. He had 2 career starts. They saw 5 more starts. They made him the highest paid player in the league. That was a joke. D Ford, he was hurt when they traded for him. He was hurt the whole time. He's probably hurt right now. They traded a second for him. They gave him $85 million. The Trey Lance trade. Now, they did trade for Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. Those were good. But look at the contracts they gave out. The Jimmy G contract, the D Ford contract, the Quan Alexander contract, Javon Hargrave, Jerick McKinnon, Debo and Ayuk. Those contracts were awful. They haven't exactly gotten a ton of return on investment on the Bosa contract. And then there's Purdy, who missed 8 games immediately following signing his contract that pays him $53 million a year. So, I don't know. It seems like he had some hits, but 9 years in, does he have a process? Or did he get lucky a few times? Does he have a good coach who can get him far, but not quite far enough? I don't know. It seems like, look what the Vikings did. They fired their general manager because he just wasn't drafting well enough. And they have to draft their way out of their current hole. The Niners have to draft their way back to the top of the NFC West. And John Lynch is just not the guy to do it. It's clear. It's clear. If they are being honest with themselves, yeah, he helped build a couple of teams that couldn't get it done. But really, that was one team. It's always been Kittle and Warner and Bosa and Trent. I mean, it was Staley, but then it was Trent. Christian was a late addition. Brock was a late addition, but it's essentially been the same team since 2019. with little tweaks here and there. No real changes. The same scheme on defense, just a different person calling plays. The same exact scheme on offense. Meanwhile, the Seahawks and Rams are completely different teams. So it's time for the Niners to build a new team. Can they? Not with John Lynch. I think it's pretty clear, and I don't think they're gonna. I think it's a shame that the Vikings are more aggressive and more decisive than the 49ers. Eddie DeBartolo would not have John Lynch entering year 10 with this resume. It would never happen. Again, did you guys know that Eddie DeBartolo's general manager was Sean McVay's grandfather? Did you guys know that? McVay actually has stronger ties to the 49ers than Shanahan does, or Lynch. It's time to get a real general manager, a guy from outside the organization. Have you noticed that all the guys who have gotten hired elsewhere because teams thought the Niners had a good front office? I'm talking like Rand Carthon and Adam Peters is probably more. They're all awful. They all get fired. And all the guys like Josh Williams, the guys in the Niners organization who were getting looks this year to be GMs, didn't get the job because I think people are looking around. I mean, how could anyone hire a guy from this front office with this resume of draft picks? Explain Nick Martin to us. Explain Cam Lotz. Explain Jake Moody. Explain Danny Gray. Explain Ambry Thomas. Explain Trey Sermon. Explain Ty Davis Price. Explain Tavarius Moore. Like on and on and on and on. You just throw away the most important picks and you try to save it in rounds 5 and 7. There's no way to build a team. It's time to get a real general manager. Then the team might actually win a Super Bowl. But this is amateur hour.